we go. This is it. We are rolling. This is episode 405, Chad. Chad Daniels is here with me for episode 405 of No Laugh Track Podcast. Nice. I'm Justin Severson. I get to host this thing every week. It's episode 405. Last time Chad was here was episode 373, 364 days ago.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I remember.
Uh-huh. Nothing in the world has changed since then. We have nothing to talk about.
Yeah, it's just kind of been pretty ho-hum, standard issue stuff.
So I listened back. Hi, by the way.
Hello.
I listened back to the episode from 364 days ago, and towards the end of it, we were chatting, and I don't even remember, it's not important what came up, but I busted out a mask out of my pocket to cover my mouth, because it was sort of the, what's happening in the world right now?
Yeah. It was just starting to happen in the United States.
It was just starting.
Yeah.
I had one of these flimsy masks, and I had said at the time that I got it because my daughter had been sick a few weeks earlier, so I got it. I grabbed a couple from a hospital we were at.
Sure.
And then you said, well, those aren't the ones that are going to help you or anything because it doesn't provide any protection.
Oh, God, I was one of those people?
And since then we learned that actually those were okay. I mean, there's better than nothing. At the time, we've learned a lot.
That's what people say. They say, well, the cloth masks don't prevent anything. Listen, I think what we're trying to do with masks is you're trying to have your breath hit the mask and then fall down onto your own chest.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like if you try to eat an entire salad at the same time, and it's right where your lettuce would hit, that's where the COVID would land. And that's what we're trying to do with masks.
Chad, you just reminded me. Also, when I was telling stories a year ago, I was talking about my 6-month-old daughter, who is now 18 months old.
Hold on. Yep. Math checks.
Checks out, right?
Yep.
Yeah. You just reminded me last night I was giving her, those little fruit snacks. Who doesn't like fruit snacks, right?
I mean, we just talked about my diet. You know I like fruit snacks. This one says it's made with real fruit juice. Put it back. I only want high fructose corn syrup, please.
Is there above 100% high fructose corn syrup?
There is, and it's in my tit right now.
I was sharing some fruit snacks with my 18-month-old daughter last night, and she was getting a little overzealous and tried to, pinch one out of my fingers.
Yep.
And she dropped it, and it fell in, like her shirt was kind of open, and it fell in there. She thought it landed on her lap.
Oh, so she's just searching for it?
Frantically.
Yes. That's so funny.
And, I was careful, when frustration got too high and there were about to be tears. I was like, oh, no, honey, it's right. And I pulled it out for her. But
my grandma had a big chest, and towards the end of her life, she would, food would just fall out of her mouth. And then she'd go, oh, and we'd go, that's all right, Grandma, just put it on the shelf. That was, during dinner, that's all we'd say. We'd be talking, and then we're like, we just put it on the shelf, grab it later.
Oh, my goodness. So we need to talk about, I got a list of things we're going to talk about. We're going to revisit the Fergus Falls crime beat, which this will be, I think, the third year in a row we're going to visit that corner.
Nice.
Yeah. Uh-huh. But first, we got to talk about why you're here this week performing at Acme. And for anybody that doesn't know, just like last year, all shows are sold out.
Little easier this year.
A little easier to sell out. Yeah.
Little easier to pack. That's the one good thing for comedians from COVID has been you can claim sellouts at 33% occupancy.
I know.
So that has been... It's like you don't have to tell anybody the final numbers.
Yeah.
You're just like, they're all sold out, I guess.
Oh, I've been selling out for 2021. I sold out every show.
Killing it.
Yeah.
Killing it.
Uh-huh. So you are going to record this week as well.
Yes.
Yes. Did someone hit record last night or your first night?
No, I'm recording Friday and Saturday, and we're just going to see what happens because last night was my 9th night of working since March 11th of last year.
Ridiculous.
And so I'm a bit rusty, and I don't really know how things go and what I want to have in the hour. And, because I was saying before this started out in the hallway, I was telling everybody that, last time I was listening to the sets last time I was here, and you could go, oh, man, doesn't this suck? And people be like, yeah, that does suck. But if I would say the same thing now, after a year of lockdown and pandemic, people think I would love that to be my problem.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
I disagree with what you're saying, and I hope that's my only problem in 2022.
No shit.
Yeah, so
perspective has changed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Considerably.
Absolutely. So it'll just be interesting. And, I don't talk too much about the pandemic because when there was lockdown, I turned comedy off.
Yeah.
And I just went full dad mode and full real life mode. And so I'm looking forward to getting back into it bits and pieces. But I don't know. Take it how it comes, I guess.
So when you were about to record this last year.
I was going to record
this, right?
in May.
In
the
May.
Beginning of May, yep.
And that you were calling that the Honesty Tour? Is that correct?
Honesty Hour. Yep.
Honesty Hour?
The Honesty Hour.
Oh, and we're not calling it that anymore?
No, I didn't really get to do that. I was going to write some stuff that was a little closer to me. We talked about so much before this started that I keep referencing that stuff. But I do therapy every other week. I'm going to tell you something. I know a lot of comedians have jokes about, oh man, you can't even cough anymore. I have had the worst thing happen. You know how old people lose elasticity in their buttholes when they get older and they can't hold shit in?
Yeah.
I have lost elasticity in my trachea. And so I'll just be sitting here and then somehow spit will leak down into my own throat. I'm going to kill myself, not suicide, but my body.
Right.
Because I'll just sit here and then I'll start coughing. People are like, what's happening? I'm like, oh, spit started in the middle of my tongue and went all the way down towards my lungs.
Is it, I mean, I hate to say this, but is it something with age? Because something has hit me. You and I, I've said this in the past, are the same age. Yeah. Happy birthday, by the way, a couple days ago. You've caught up to me again.
Thank you so
in
much.
age. And I've gotten this thing recently where it'll be like, like where it's just like phlegmy out of nowhere. I'm like, where the
Yeah,
Dad, thanks, Dad. I'm turning into Dad.
But you don't cough anything up, right?
Correct.
I think we have loose skin in our trachea.
What the fuck?
Where it's like an internal turkey gobbler thingy.
Yeah.
Where you're just, it's just unreal.
I'm
Getting
over it.
old sucks my ass.
Yeah, so it's happening. It is absolutely happening. So I was listening to, like I always do, listening to episodes of the podcast you do, Middle of Somewhere. And it was the one with your pal Pat McGann.
Yes.
Who I honestly didn't know much about.
He's so funny.
And now I'm a fan.
Yeah.
And I love it when podcasts do that, which
Sure.
I hope this one does to people.
Absolutely.
Over the last 8 years or so. Introduce you to somebody you've never heard of. Like, hey, I'm going to start following this person on social media.
Yep.
Hopefully see him if they come to my town.
Yep.
Yeah, he was great. Side note about him, at one point during that episode, you talk about how he hosts a podcast with Jim Flanagan, and I was like, McGann and Flanagan? Who's their co-host? Freaking Lucky the Leprechaun? What is going on there? Pat McGann.
Oh, Jimmy Flanagan's back.
Oh, no kidding.
They only do one episode a year, and it's March 17th.
Yeah, we know. Annual. I know it's a big deal for you. Absolutely. But here, during that episode, you said at one point, and I'm wondering if you want to, if you're going to stick with this maybe as a title for what you're recording this week, maybe going from the Honesty Tour to, quote, I'm sick of these jokes and I need to move on.
Yeah, maybe it's moving on. Maybe I should call it moving on for a couple of reasons. Number one, moving on, letting them know, like, I don't want to do this hour anymore. And then also, this album could be my forced retirement.
No, stop.
Maybe it's going to be so bad where people are like, listen, you're done now. We've all decided for you.
No, absolutely not. So then you also you mentioned in this episode that you said, what, last night was the 9th time on stage?
9th time, yeah.
9th time on stage. So I was looking for, I did a little Chad Daniels news search, and one of the headlines that came up was must have been a story. Oh, I know it was. It was a thing written about some shows you did in Cleveland.
Okay.
Earlier this year, right?
Sure.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to bring the headline to your attention, see what you actually think about this.
Okay. I didn't read it, so I don't know what's happening.
It's just the headline. Comedian brings dad jokes to Cleveland. Is that fair, Chad?
I always love, I mean, kind of, because I'm a dad and I'm telling jokes, but dad jokes have gotten such a bad rap.
Yeah.
Where you'll see somebody who's 16 and they'll say something, and no one will laugh, and they go, "Oh, sorry, dad joke." And it's like, fuck you.
Yeah, right?
You're not a dad. You don't get to say they're dad jokes. You're not funny. Don't blame it on dads. You shit the bed. You take responsibility for that. That's an Eric joke, you unfunny piece of shit.
Yes.
I'm sorry I'm yelling.
Is there an Eric, by the way?
I'm saying this guy's name, I assigned him as an Eric.
Okay.
Yes. I'm not into it. I just like, I understand what they're saying
And
because I talk about my family.
Yeah. And for the record, if you read what the guy wrote about you, it doesn't it clears up any, misconception like, oh, this guy's doing corny jokes on stage. No.
Sure.
It's clear you're not doing that.
But also sometimes.
But also there might be a pun or two.
Yeah, we don't know.
I just love it. Comedian brings dad jokes.
Tell him to stay home.
I have one for you, by the way.
A dad joke?
Yeah, if you want to. Let's see. What do sprinters eat before a race?
I'm going to just not think about it and let you go.
Nothing. They fast.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I'm going to give you one more here. What concert costs just 45 cents?
Something about Nickelback.
Very good. 50 Cent featuring Nickelback.
There we go.
Huh?
Yep.
Nice job.
Thank you so much.
This is actually
I should have been able to figure out the 50 cent part, though, too. Damn it!
$50 minus Nickelback?
Yeah, whatever.
Something along those lines. So last year we talked. You were kind of new in being a cabin owner, correct?
Yes.
And now you've had a quarantine at a cabin first summer.
Pretty nice place to have the government force you to stay.
Right?
I did enjoy it a lot. We'd never had. I mean, I've experienced cabin life. I've experienced lake life, just being a Minnesotan, lifelong Minnesotan. But to have your own place and just it was something else. And I grew up. I mean, I had been on lakes my whole childhood, right next to this lake, but never knew this lake was there. So we got to find out all these really cool. There's an inlet that you can. Canoe or kayak through.
Love it.
And you can get into a state park. There's a state park across the lake. It was just, it was a really fun summer, not having to worry about anything but foreclosure.
Right. Yeah, right?
Yeah. It's like, that's what people would say. They'd go, what a great time to buy a cabin. And I was like, is it? I'm going to work 9 days in a year.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a great time to do it. It was so funny because my son and I told this on my podcast, but my son and I were fishing at the end of the dock early on. And for those people that don't know, when you're at the lake, it's just a common phrase. I don't think anybody means anything malicious by it, but it's a common phrase where people will go, well, I wonder what poor people are doing today. That's just what is said at lakes. I don't know why it started. And this lovely woman came over. She really is. And she said, she goes, how do you like your new slice of heaven? We're like, oh, we love it. And she just goes, I wonder what the poor people are doing today. And my son goes, we're fishing. And I laughed for so long. I laughed so hard. And I think she was taken aback by it.
Oh, she had to have been.
She kind of moonwalked back to her yard, but she is lovely, and I get it. I the phrase makes me uncomfortable because it's like, we can hear you.
Yeah.
We're right here.
Maybe you don't know us that well.
I just wanted to say, you should ask your new neighbors next year
the
same question, because I'm going to have to put this on the market, lady.
Yeah, the next owners will have a really good answer for that. So I heard, I listened to the most recent episode of your podcast with your friend, non-comedian friend, was the guest.
Yeah, that's the first time we've had a non-comedian on, besides Cy. And
you're welcome for that, Lob.
He's one of my best friends ever, best man in my wedding, and I had a great time chatting with him.
So, and at the beginning of it was a really good episode, and but before it started, you had a lot of dates scheduled for this year already.
Yeah, I'm working until May 15th, and then I'm taking the summer off, which is like just my financial advisor is like, what? But what am I going to do? Just work all summer to pay for a cabin I can't use? That doesn't make any sense. I would rather have to call the bank and be like, 1 more month.
Yeah,
just
right.
give me 1 more month.
Right.
So that's what I'm doing. But I'm working every other weekend.
Just in Texas and Mississippi, right?
Yeah. I'm actually I have made sure that I'm picking clubs for now that are doing everything right, and because I care about myself, of course. I care about my family, but also to ask someone to come into an unsafe environment, I think is irresponsible. And so I've talked to all the club owners, personally, and asked them, "What are you guys doing? What's happening?" So I feel all right about it.
Okay, good. Do you have anything in New York yet? I see that they're about to open up in March 10th. They're going to be up to 33% capacity.
Nope, I don't have anything in New York. I think I'm going to DC, and just some, like I said, some places that I know are doing the right thing.
Sure. Do you want to, is there any updates on your podcast as far as, so things have changed slightly.
Right.
You used to do an episode with a guy named Cy Amundsen, who we know very well here.
Yep. And Cy has had some health stuff, and he's healing and getting better. And, the issue is I don't have any problem doing the podcast as it is, but I do understand people that have listened, that it was just banter back and forth between Cy and I. In a blue moon, we'd have a guest on.
Right.
But then it would be he and I still. And now it has become more of the typical, have a comedian on. We try to do the same thing where I say, think of 5 funny stories, and then I interrupt them like we're on a phone call. So, I mean, we still stick to that, but it's a little bit different. So I understand if people that really liked the podcast before are like, what the hell's going on? I'm not trying to hijack the podcast. I'm just letting my co-host heal a little bit. And when he comes back, I think it'll be a blast. I'm saving a ton of stories for when he's back.
You are?
Yeah. I mean, I have
as
pages of stories. Yeah,
as
I'm excited.
You know what I think would be just great is if we find out, like, let's say a month from now, that Cy's actually been doing his own podcast on his own and just hasn't had time for you.
Oh, that's so great. That would be so funny if he's branched off into the Australian market.
Oh, he's killing it over there.
I love it.
He's probably going to move there.
That's so great.
He's going to zoom back to the United States. But do you think it's time to visit the Fergus Falls crime
I'd
corner?
love to know what's going on in my town.
Okay. So I literally just go, well, I don't need to give up my secrets. No, Fergus Falls news. And
Sure.
this is what comes up.
Okay.
This is what comes up until your small town website says I have to pay for more stories. And then I can't look at it anymore.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I hit my 5 free for the month, and they happen one day.
Here's a story you might not have heard about. Well, I'll let you go, and then we'll talk about it.
Oh, okay, sure. Let me see. Are we at the right album here? Yes, we are. Right. I also have. Well, no, maybe we'll get that to another time. So we got. Oh, here we go. All right, you ready? A stuffed animal tied to her mailbox frightened an Otter Tail County resident to the point where she contacted the sheriff's office and alleged she was being stalked. The caller also said she was locked in her house. 2 deputies, I'm guessing the two deputies, they forgot to put the. The 2 deputies responded to the call and found messages that had been sent over Facebook. None of them were threatening or harassing. The complainant blocked a mail party, and the deputies advised her of protection orders. So it gets a little confusing at the end there, but it starts off with a stuffed animal tied to her mailbox.
Yeah, well, it worked. I'm glad that it. I'm down one stuffed animal, but it striking fear into people.
You win those big ones from the state fair. What else are you going to do with them?
Well, are stuffed animals the new clowns? Why are you scared of a stuffed animal?
That's true.
I really don't understand.
What if it was like Mickey Mouse, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, everyone loves Mickey. Don't be afraid.
I would love to know what it was what the stuffed animal was.
I assume you just go back home and you ask around, and people will tell you. Oh, Kathy?
You'd be able to find out in a second. You go down to Viking Cafe
for
dinner.
Okay.
Or for breakfast, and you just go, hey, you guys hear about that stuffed animal on that mailbox? And somebody would go like, well, goddamn right I did. That was Jim.
Oh, Carol.
That was Jim. He's mad at Carol over there because he said he'd bring 2 crappies and she'd trade him a pie, and she never made the pie. So he put a crappie stuffed animal on her mailbox.
A caller from East Vernon Avenue.
Oh, I know East Vernon well.
Is that the bad side of town?
It's not, but when I was younger, I sprayed a saline solution into pop machines to break the circuits. You spray a basic salt water into the dollar changer of a pop machine. It cuts all the circuits, so all the change releases, and then if you hit like the Coke button, all the Coke dumps out. And across the street at the time was a Hardee's.
Uh-huh.
And they were getting ready for their new biscuit and gravy breakfast that was being unleashed the next day.
Yeah.
And the guy was there at a time where no one should have been at Hardee's, and he called the cops, and we got arrested. Is that in your goddamn news stories? It was from 100 years ago.
I was going to say, the internet didn't exist back then, Chad.
That's right. That's completely right. We need microfiche to find stories about me.
You know what? I'm going to drive up to Fergus Falls, go to the library, check out the Dewey Decimal System, and I'll see if I can find some of these stories. A caller from East Vernon Avenue allegedly heard a female screaming, "Michael!" in the middle of the street Tuesday until getting into an older-style Jeep SUV. The caller told the Fergus Falls Police Department the female got into the vehicle on her own free will. That's it.
I have a feeling there's a stuffed animal named Michael, and these 2 stories are related.
It's possible. It's possible. They were only a few days apart.
That's actually how you call Uber in Fergus. You just yell their first name, and then they come pick you up. Michael! Me.
What was there another story that you had?
Yeah,
While
there was a car backed into in the liquor store parking lot, hit and run. And someone saw it, and they got the license plate number, and they brought it into the liquor store, and then the person got to watch the video footage of the hit and run on the cameras, and then that person had to call the police, and then the police went and found the van that hit his car, and it was an old man, and now I have to get my fucking car fixed. This story's about me.
No.
Yeah. No. This old man just backed into my car, and you can see the car shift. It almost goes into another parking spot and then kind of settles back, and the guy doesn't stop. And then the cops are like, yeah, we talked to him. He's kind of hard of hearing. And I go, is he hard of feeling? And they go, well, what do you want us to do? And I go, nothing. I don't want to ruin a person's life over this, but come on.
So how much damage?
So grumpy. It's my whole hatchback. I have an SUV, and it's the whole back door is dented, so I'm going to have to get a whole new back door. Now, he has insurance and everything. It's just a pain in the ass, that's all.
Last July, I watched a guy slow motion back into my car in a parking spot. Like he was backing up, and I'm like, he's looking. He's going to stop.
Yeah,
and then I yelled, stop, when he was an inch away, and he just kept going and crashed right into it. And then he didn't know that he did it, so I tapped down his window, and I explained it to him, and he just looked at me with the most confused look. Then we got out, and I showed it to him, and he couldn't have been nicer. He said, I'm sorry, and we gave me the insurance.
I understand
Had no
the
clue
niceness
he did it, though.
part.
Had no clue.
That's what scares the hell out of me. I mean, these guys are backing up are they going, no kids, no strollers, just hoping they don't run over someone?
He said, it was in the middle of the afternoon, he said, well, your vehicle's black, and it was in the shade. First time this has happened in front of you, or what?
Oh, my God.
Oh, my goodness. Don't ever put sunglasses on. You are fucked, man. You are so fucked.
There might be, listen, I don't know if there's something to that. I know one time I looked through a red latex balloon at a red car, and the car looked white through the balloon. Truth. And then I moved the balloon, and the car was red.
Were you being strangled or something?
No, it was the craziest shit in the whole world because I'd never experienced that before. But the red in the balloon takes the red off the car. You can't see the red anymore because of the filter. It's almost like, have you ever had, well, I have. I hate that I have to make this analogy.
I can't wait.
Have you ever had like chocolate after chocolate and you're like, oh, I can't taste this? Have you ever washed down a chocolate chip cookie with chocolate milk?
Yes.
And you're like, it's washing each other out. It
have.
tastes like normal milk.
Yeah, it's no good.
That's the thing. I think it's the same thing with the balloon. I hate that all my analogies are food related, but it doesn't matter. I can run further and farther. I don't want to get into
How can I tie this into chocolate? Milk, ice cream, anything. Fountain. Oh
no.
A Fergus Falls police officer was called to East Vernon Avenue.
Wow.
Yeah.
Trouble.
After it was alleged that a male, upset with not being able to use the gas pumps, threw his hose during a tantrum and hit a complainant's car, causing a dent. This is not connected to the story you just told me, correct?
It's not. And I will tell you, I know where it was. It was at Casey's. That's the only gas station on East Vernon.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. It was at Casey's, and that's the exact Casey's where I sprayed gas towards a person one time because they were coming to punch me in the face.
Jesus.
He was so mad at me, and I just went...
Have you ever considered doing a Chad tour of Fergus Falls and then have like this? Everybody is the gas station where the pizza comes from, and I once tried to spray someone with gasoline.
Nope. I don't need any of that.
This is where
further documented.
Freaking fantastic. I want to talk. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I'm going to give you one more here.
Okay.
Fergus Falls police officer was called. Wait, did I finish the last one? I did, right? Yeah. The complainant's car officer, discovered the unknown male was unable to pay for his gas at the pump and had driven away without taking the nozzle out of his vehicle. When he did, the nozzle struck the complainant's vehicle.
Oh.
That's what happened there.
I've done that too. I didn't realize those little metal pieces on the hose are meant to pop off and make sure that it doesn't explode if that happens.
Oh.
Because I drove away
You find
once.
that out the hard way, apparently.
Yeah, you find that out when you go get your car from a bar the next day and you're still maybe too hungover to drive. And you just pull you're like, oh no, what was that?
Oh no.
You turn around and you're dragging the hose behind you. That was brutal.
No. And then you have to go face that. I can't even imagine. Let's see. Let's do one more here. A Fergus Falls police officer was called to Hampton Avenue.
Okay.
Hampton Avenue.
Just one avenue over from Vernon. I'm just kidding. That's not right.
Obviously a cross street. Hampton Avenue Thursday by a man who allegedly purchased $21,000 of deer hides from a Fergus Falls hide dealer. You have a connection to this.
I think that is one down from Hampton because that sounds like Runnigan's Furs. That sounds like Runnigan's Furs. It's where I get my chopper mittens.
The complainant alleged the dealer was blocking access to his truck. The complainant stated he had wired the Fergus Falls dealer money on the 11th of February, and the police officer reported the disagreement between the two parties led to a semi-trailer of deer hides being unloaded and payment being returned to the buyer. No sale. We're done with this. Take your fucking hides and shove them.
That's a lot of hides.
$21,000 worth.
Jiminy
Christmas. Yeah. That's somebody who didn't lose income during the pandemic, apparently.
Yeah, that's somebody who's just been sitting on. It's just like, oh, I can't work? I'm going to hunt.
What do you use your cryptocurrency income from? Hides. Hides.
I have a BitHide. Have you ever heard of that?
BitHide. So I have one more thing I want to talk to you about, and I know that you have a how do I describe this? Sort of a love-hate relationship, maybe, with Minnesota sports. Let's go specifically Minnesota Vikings. Let's go all the way to Kirk Cousins, right?
Okay.
You have...
What are you trying to do, man? I can feel my pulse in my temple right now. What's going
on?
Kirk,
come on in.
That would be incredible.
We're literally having a come-to-Jesus meeting.
This is your life. Yeah, that would be.
No. So people that know have heard you talk. You have strong opinions on our quarterback in Minnesota, Kirk Cousins.
Yes.
I don't know how you feel about Kyle Rudolph.
I love him.
Okay. Did you see, obviously, you know that the Vikings released him this week.
Been let go.
And then I saw on social media, a lot of people were reposting his letter that he wrote, his open letter to Minnesota fans saying thank you.
Was it about becoming a Minnesota, like enjoying his life as a Minnesotan?
Yep.
Okay.
And it was thank you. 10 years ago when I came here, I was, I didn't know much about Minnesota, all that jazz. You guys did all these great things for me, and I, blah, 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 right?
Well, he did great things for us.
Yes. Yes, he did. So he wrote an open letter to us and thanking us how much he appreciates us. I'm gonna read some of this to you, and I want your thoughts on it. All right? He says, every season I played here, every game I played here, you all believed. Whether we were 3-13 or 13-3 or any record in between, whether we won big or lost big or won a thriller or lost a heartbreaker, there's no bitterness in Minnesota. There's no cynicism. There's no Super Bowl curse. There's always just been hope. He's delusional.
I mean, listen.
No bitterness?
I like the idea behind this letter.
No bitterness?
But my idea with Rudolph being released and Cousins being kept is sometimes you drop a diamond out of your left hand because you're too busy trying not to squish the dog shit between your fingers and your right hand. I think that's what's happened here.
Yeah.
I did not watch the Vikings this year much. I watched the Buffalo Bills, and I jumped teams before I knew they were going to be good. I just thought, well, if Diggs is going to the Buffalo Bills, I'm going to watch him because he's the most exciting player the Vikings have had in so long. And then they let him go because, they have to keep a guy who has great stats, can't close.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins, listen, probably a nice guy. I haven't really looked at what he's done for the community. He's a faith-based guy. I'm assuming he's probably done a good deal for the community.
I would think so.
But for me, right, he seems like the anti-sandbagger in golf. If you don't know what a sandbagger is in golf, it's people that will miss putts that don't matter because then they can keep their handicap higher, and it's a way of cheating.
Yeah.
I think Kirk Cousins is the opposite of that in that his stats until 5 minutes left in the game are unheard of.
Yeah.
It's the last 2 drives. Can we put those stats up on the board, Fox Sports, please?
You're right.
So it's just unfortunate. Now, I wish he could close. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
So I follow the Bills till Cousins is gone. I have a Bills starters jacket. I have I went deep. I was just like, I'm a full Buffalo Bills guy now.
Oh my.
Until Cousins is gone. And then I have all my Vikes stuff. It's just put in my closet, and I'll take that out, and the Bills stuff will go in, and that'll be that. And then someday there'll be a Vikes-Bills Super Bowl, and I'll have both things.
Then you cut the jerseys down the middle, right? And you wear half.
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wear the Vikings jersey on the outside, and then if they shit the bed, I'm going to go like, what's up? Surprise! I've been a Bills fan this whole time.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Did you had last year? There were you had left a bunch of T-shirts in the back here for that tour.
Okay.
What did you ever do with those?
They're probably still here. I have no
really?
idea.
They
Are they really? Looks like I am selling merch this week. What's up?
So right along those lines, that was always the Buffalo Bills who lost all those Super Bowls. That was always the joke. Like, there's kids in third world countries that think the Buffalo Bills are the greatest football team ever.
Yeah.
We could send these T-shirts somewhere where people are going to think the Honesty Tour went on as planned.
This tour happened.
Yeah.
There was no COVID in the U.S.
No.
We must be the only people that think that, except 70 million Americans.
Well, All right. I've taken up enough of your time. It's true.
Well, I'm having a lot of fun here.
Okay, well then the next. No, I'm kidding. Let me look over this stuff real quick.
By the way, that T-shirt thing, I have to interrupt you.
No,
that T-shirt thing about sending T-shirts that never happened to third world countries, giving them bad information.
Yeah.
I've always thought a funny joke is that somewhere there's a kid in a third world country wearing a T-shirt that says Space Shuttle Challenger on it, with the whole crew just going, "We did it!
Thumbs up! Oh no,
we made it!" And then they get here, they come to America, and they're like, "Look, Space Shuttle Challenger!" And everyone's like, "You take that fucking T-shirt off! It's disrespectful!"
Where's the statue for these people? They did something so
That's just one more way America keeps people from other countries down, just giving them false information. And when they get here, there's a built-in hatred already because they're pissed at the cocky shirt.
I can't believe you went to Space Shuttle Challenger.
Well, I was just thinking of stuff.
My 5th grade teacher, when that happened, she came back into the classroom crying because she had tried to be the Krista McAuliffe.
I think we've had this conversation because, same thing, Dave Ellis, I had Mr. Ellis and Mr. Zozel were my 5th grade teachers, and they team taught.
Yeah.
And Mr. Ellis was devastated because he also applied for this position, and I think he got fairly close.
Isn't that crazy?
And now this guy, he teaches, Mr. Ellis teaches out at the Prairie Wetlands Center in Fergus Falls, where people can go, the kids can go, and they're outside a ton more, and they learn math by like how many leaves are on this tree. It's outdoorsy stuff, but they're still learning all the stuff they need to learn, which is pretty cool.
That sounds fantastic.
Yep.
I want to bring up one more thing about that I heard from an episode of your podcast. I don't remember which one it was. It was from within the last couple months.
Okay.
Where you say something about your daughter, your teenage daughter, having when somebody had a blue check mark. And she was so impressed by you knowing someone, or you had a blue check mark.
I have a blue check mark.
Yes, and she was so
lost
impressed
her mind.
by it.
Yeah.
Thinking that was such a big deal.
Well, because she didn't know that I had it, and then one of her friends told her at school, and she just came in. She was like, I mean, you know how someone takes their backpack off with their thumbs, and it just falls to the ground behind them? That's what she did. She marched up the stairs, flinged her backpack off, and just goes, Dad, you have a blue check mark?
Out of breath,
and I
breathlessly
was like,
saying it.
I don't know what that means. When I hear check mark, I think detention.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking back to what stories did you hear about me?
Right.
And then she goes, Instagram blue check mark. And I was like, oh, yeah, you just get those for doing nothing.
So a few months ago, there's no concept of time. A year ago, probably
364 days. I was here.
There was some show on Netflix that Adam Driver was one of the stars of. I don't know, some drama. I don't remember what it was called. And my 14-year-old daughter watched it, and my wife watched it too, separately. I didn't see it. They were swapping stories about it.
Was it about a divorce?
Yes.
And with not Charlotte. What's her name?
Martha Kelly is in it.
Scarlett
Johansson is her co-star.
Martha Kelly, yes.
Comedian Martha Kelly, who's been on this podcast.
She's unbelievable.
She's so funny.
Yeah.
People may know her from Baskets with Louis Anderson.
Yep.
And Zach Galifianakis. So she's in this, mini-series or whatever the hell it is with Adam Driver. My 14-year-old daughter found out that I know somewhat Martha Kelly. Mm-hmm. She's in a movie with Adam Driver. My daughter thinks Adam Driver is the fucking coolest in the world.
Yep.
So for half a day, I was the king shit because I know someone that knows Adam Driver.
You just went 3 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
But Adam Driver.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. It helps that he was in, I don't even know if it's thanks to me, but I want to claim it. She's a Star Wars fan as well. So the fact that he is in Star Wars is
I bet.
super high. Yeah.
Not only just in Star Wars, but like legendary.
Kylo Ren.
Character.
What's up?
Yeah, that's pretty fantastic. A lot of times my daughter will see people that I know, like in the Fergus Falls News, and she'll be like, oh, you know this guy? That sucks.
The guy at the gas station? That wasn't you this time.
They do fact check with me sometimes. Be like, Dad, where were you last Wednesday? Like, I was just driving Uber under the name Michael.
Always have an alibi. So I would say people should try to get tickets to your shows here this week, but no.
Sorry, suckers. Why don't you wait till we open up full? There'll be 66% of tickets left.
Yeah. Well, available at some point. Yes. So good luck the rest of this week. I can't wait.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Do you have any idea where like the video special? Are you going to shop that to places?
Nope. We're just going to put it on YouTube. This is just a situation where I'm not trying to sell. I'm not trying to get rich. I want this material out there so people that don't get to see it or didn't get to see the tour can listen or watch
Perfect.
Just somehow. And then I'm going to start working on a new hour because my brain is going crazy.
It's time. It is time.
Yes.
So I'm going to end the show with this one here. It's a tweet of yours that I saw. I saw it today, but it's from, I think it was back in January. And I'm going to see if you will.
Oh, boy. Things were intense in January.
No, we're not talking Jan 6, Jan 7, Jan 8.
Okay.
We're talking towards the end of the month.
Oh, well, maybe we'll get off scot-free here.
Oh, maybe. I'm going to have you complete. I'm going to see if you remember it.
Okay.
All right. This is a tweet from that Chad Daniels. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Spanish peanuts.
Oh.
Should just be called
peanuts. Don't you think?
Yes.
It just makes so much sense because you go, why are you lisping? Oh, they're Spanish peanut. Okay. Yeah, that's how you say it there. I think it only got I don't know. I'm assuming 20 likes or something.
You know, fine. You know what that is to me? That's the joke that I'm not a comedian, but the one in the back of the room where the room doesn't laugh.
Sure.
But the guys in the back think it's guys.
Sure.
The folks in the back.
I get what you're saying.
That are in the industry think
Sure.
it's hilarious. I'm going to claim that's that to me.
Well, good.
Maybe it's not funny to the majority, but I think that is fucking hilarious.
Well, thank you. I'm very glad.
Peanuts.
Peanuts.
Thank you.